The phone buzzed at 2:17 a.m. Not loud, not urgent, just enough to wake the part of my heart that never really slept. I stared at the screen. In the dark, my thumb hovering over her. Name the name. I had promised myself I wouldn't open again. The room smelled like silence and old memories. The fan hummed like it was trying to drown out my thoughts, but nothing could. Online, that single word felt heavier than 1,000 conversations. I whispered to no one, "Hello, sweetheart. How are you doing today?" The words stayed trapped in my chest. I didn't send them. I never did anymore. Once she was the first person I texted when I woke up, and the last before sleep claimed me. Now she was a ghost, living inside my phone, present, glowing, unreachable. Outside, the city slept. Inside me, a storm paced back and forth. We didn't end with a fight. We didn't end with shouting or slammed doors. We ended with waiting for a reply that never came, waiting for an explanation that was never typed, waiting for a love that slowly learned how to disappear. I opened WhatsApp anyway. Her profile picture hadn't changed. Same soft smile, same eyes that once looked at me like I was home. I remembered the day that photo was taken. She laughed because I kept telling her not to blink, and she said, "Why are you so serious?" "Because I loved you." I wanted to say back then, because I was already afraid of losing you. The cursor blinked in the message box, patient and cruel. "Hello, sweetheart. How are you doing today?" I typed it, then erased it, typed again, erased again. What do you say to someone who was once your whole world and is now a stranger with memories? What words survive when love has no address anymore? My mind traveled back to the beginning, the innocent beginning, when everything felt possible. We met on a night that wasn't supposed to matter. A casual conversation, a random reply, no expectations, no promises, just words floating between two lonely hearts, pretending they weren't lonely at all. She told me she liked late night talks because they felt honest. I told her I liked silence, but only if it was shared. We laughed at stupid things. We shared songs. We shared wounds without calling them wounds. Slowly, without permission, she became part of my routine. Good morning texts, voice notes sent half asleep, arguments that ended in laughter, dreams spoken softly like secrets meant only for the dark. She knew how to calm me without trying. I knew how to read her pauses better than her words. Love didn't arrive loudly. It slipped in quietly and rearranged everything. I remember the first time she said my name like it mattered. My heart stumbled. I remember thinking, this is dangerous. I was right. Another buzz pulled me back to the present. Not from her, just a notification reminding me of time, as if time hadn't already taken enough. I locked the phone and pressed it against my chest. Why did you leave? I whispered. There was no anger in my voice anymore, only exhaustion, only longing, only the echo of questions that never learned how to stop asking. Some nights I imagine her typing too. Some nights I imagine she's waiting like I am. Some nights I imagine everything I want to believe. But imagination is a cruel lover. It gives you everything and takes it away before morning. I opened the phone one last time and typed the truth, the sentence I had been carrying for months. I don't know why you left me. My finger hovered over. Send. The world held its breath. And so did I. The moment my finger touched send, something inside me broke free and something else shattered. The message didn't fail. It didn't stay pending. It didn't hesitate. Delivered. That single word glowed under the sentence like a quiet verdict. I dropped the phone on the bed as if it had burned me. My heart slammed against my ribs, fast and uneven, like it had been running for years, and suddenly realized there was nowhere left to go. I sat there, staring at the ceiling, counting breaths I couldn't control. 1 minute passed, 2, 5, nothing. I picked the phone up again, slower this time, as if moving too fast might scare her away. Even now, still online, she was there, reading, typing, ignoring every possibility hurt in its own way. I remembered how she used to reply instantly, how she'd complain if I took more than a minute. Are you talking to someone else? She'd tease. I'd laugh and say, no, I'm talking to you. That's enough. Now, minutes felt like years. 10 minutes passed. Then the typing indicator appeared. 3 dots. I stopped breathing. Those dots had once been my favorite sight in the world. They meant she was choosing words for me. Now they felt like a storm. Warning. The dots disappeared. My heart sank. Then they appeared again. I whispered, please, just say something. The dots vanished. Once more. Nothing. I leaned back against the headboard, closing my eyes. Memories flooding in without mercy. She had always been complicated in the softest way. She loved deeply but feared being loved even more. She carried old scars she never fully explained past hurts, she joked about. Instead of facing, I used to think my love could heal her. I was wrong. Love doesn't heal wounds the owner refuses to touch. I remembered the night she pulled away for the first time, not physically, emotionally. Her replies got shorter, her laughter quieter, her presence thinner. I asked, "Did I do something wrong?" She said, "No, I'm just tired." She was always tired near the end, tired of explaining, tired of feeling, tired of us. I stayed anyway. The phone buzzed. I opened WhatsApp so fast my hands shook. Her reply sat there, small and terrifying. Her, "I don't know what to say." 4 years of us, reduced to 7 words. I stared at the screen, reading it again and again, trying to find hidden meanings between the letters. I typed back me. "You don't have to say anything perfect. Just say something real." The dots appeared almost instantly this time, then stopped, then appeared again. She was fighting herself. I could feel it. I always could. Another message came. Her, "I never meant to hurt you." I laughed. Softly, no sound, just air, leaving my lungs. That sentence had become a universal apology. One people used when they didn't know how to fix what they broke me. I know. But you did there. I finally said it. I expected her to disappear after that, to go offline, to leave me staring at my own honesty. But she didn't. She replied, "Her, I didn't leave because I stopped loving you." My chest tightened painfully. Her, "I left because loving you scared me." The room felt suddenly smaller. Scared. Her. All this time, I had blamed myself, my words, my tone, my love. I thought maybe I was too much, too intense, too present. I typed slowly, carefully. "Me, I never wanted to scare you." Her reply came after a long pause. Her, "I know. That's why it was worse." I closed my eyes. Some people run from fire. Some people run from light. She was the second kind. I remembered how she used to say, "What if this ends badly?" And I'd answer, "What if it doesn't?" She never believed in that if. Another message appeared. Her, "I'm still the same person. I just didn't know how to stay." That sentence cracked something open in me. I finally understood what she couldn't say before. She didn't leave because I failed. She left because staying required courage she didn't have yet. But understanding doesn't erase pain. I typed the truth I'd been hiding. Me. Do you know what hurt the most? Not losing you, but losing myself while waiting for you to come back. The dots appeared. They stayed longer this time. Very long. My phone buzzed again. Her. I think about you more than you think. Tears blurred my vision. Thinking wasn't the same as choosing. I wiped my face and asked the question that had haunted me since the beginning. Me. Why now? Why text? Back now? Her answer came like a whisper across distance and time. Her, because tonight I was waiting for your message too. My heart stopped. I read her last message again, slower, this time like reading a line from a book I was afraid to finish. Because tonight I was waiting for your message too. Waiting, that word carried hope and cruelty in equal measure. My fingers trembled over the keyboard. Every reply felt like it could either heal us or finally bury us. There was no casual ground left between us, only cliffs. Me waiting for what? The dots appeared almost immediately. This time they didn't disappear. Her, for you to remind me that what we had was real and not something I imagined. Because I was lonely, that hurt more than she probably intended. I leaned my head back and let out a long breath. Me, I was there. I loved you when you were happy and when you were impossible. That wasn't imagination. A pause. Then, her, I know. That's why I still can't forget you. The room felt heavy with unsaid things. I remembered how we used to talk like this late at night, honest, because sleep stripped away our defenses. I decided to stop protecting myself. Me, do you miss me? Three simple words, the most dangerous ones. The dots froze. Minutes passed. I almost regretted sending it. Then my phone vibrated. Her, every day. My chest tightened, and for a moment I hated how easy it still was for her to undo. Me, then why did you disappear like I never mattered? That question had lived inside me like a splinter. She replied slowly, line by line. Her, because staying would have meant changing, and I was afraid I'd fail you. I stared at the message.
The morning after the call didn't feel like morning. It felt like the aftermath of a storm that had passed quietly, leaving everything standing but soaked, fragile, and changed. I woke up with my phone in my hand. No missed calls, no new messages, just the memory of her voice lingering in my ears like a song that refused to fade. For a long time I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying every word she said, not searching for mistakes, not rewriting the past, just letting the truth settle into places it had avoided before. Don't wait for me. She didn't say it cruelly. She said it like a blessing. She wasn't allowed to keep. I got out of bed and opened the window. The city was already awake, people going places, choosing directions, moving forward without knowing how lucky they were to still believe in tomorrows. I wondered if she was awake too. I wondered if she regretted the call. I wondered if she was hurting the way I was quietly, without witnesses. Days passed, not dramatically, not with closure or sudden healing, just days. I went back to routines I had abandoned while waiting for someone who was no longer there. Morning walks, music that didn't remind me of her, at least not immediately. Conversations with friends where I smiled and said I was fine. I wasn't lying. I just wasn't telling the whole truth. At night, the silence returned. That was when the memories became louder. I remember how she used to send me voice notes when she couldn't sleep. How she'd say my name like she was holding on to it. How she once told me if I ever leave, it won't be because I stopped loving you. She had kept that promise, but promises don't protect you from pain. On the fourth day, I almost texted her. Almost. I typed, "Did you mean there?" Then I deleted it. On the sixth day, I almost called. Then I remember the sound of her voice breaking when she said she didn't trust herself with my heart. I chose silence instead, not as punishment, as respect. Something strange started happening around the second week. I stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. I stopped imagining her typing. I stopped rewriting our story in my head. The pain didn't disappear, but it loosened its grip. I realized something uncomfortable. I had been living in a paused version of my life, waiting for someone else to press play. She was right. Waiting was slowly erasing me. One evening, while walking past a cafe we once talked about visiting together, I didn't feel the usual ache, just a soft sadness. like touching an old ruse that no longer screamed. I sat down, ordered coffee, and opened my notebook. I started writing, not about her, about me, about who I was before love made me afraid of loss, about the things I had postponed, about the parts of myself I had handed over without realizing they might not come back. Healing didn't arrive as a grand moment. It arrived as small choices, choosing not to check her status, choosing sleep over late night spirals, choosing to believe that love, even when it ends, isn't wasted. Then, one night, my phone buzzed. Her name appeared. I didn't panic. I didn't freeze. I just breathed. The message was simple. Her. I hope you're okay. I stared at it for a long time. Old me would have replied instantly, explain everything, reopen every door, but I was someone else now. I typed back slowly, honestly, me. I am. I hope you are too. 3 dots appeared, then stopped. Then she replied, her. I'm trying. I smiled sadly. Me. That's enough for now. She didn't reply after that, and surprisingly, I was okay. That night, I realized the choice was already forming, not loudly, not dramatically, but firmly. I didn't need to cut her out. I didn't need to chase her back. I just needed to keep walking forward, even if part of my heart still looked back. Sometimes some loves teach you how to hold on. Others teach you how to let go without becoming bitter. She was the second kind, and maybe that was her final gift. Time did what it always does. It kept moving without asking permission. Weeks turned into months. Seasons shifted gently, like they were careful not to disturb what had already been broken. Once I stopped counting days since the last message. Her name no longer lived at the top of my recent chats. It lived somewhere else now, in the background, in the soft spaces between thoughts. I grew into my life again, not the life I had planned with her, but one that still felt like mine. I laughed more easily. I slept better. I learned how to sit with loneliness without letting it define me. And then, one ordinary afternoon, something unexpected happened. I ran into her. It wasn't dramatic. No slow motion. No music. No fate screaming its arrival. Just a grocery store aisle and a shared pause. She stood a few feet away, holding a basket, reading the label on a box of tea like it mattered more than anything else in the world. She looked different, not changed, completely, just softened by time, calmer, more herself. I almost walked away, not because I was afraid, but because I finally knew I could. She looked up, our eyes met. There it was, that familiar recognition, that quiet oh that no one else could hear. Hey, she said. Hey, that was it. No rush of words, no apologies spilling out, just two people acknowledging what they once were without trying to become it again. You look good, she said carefully. So do you, I replied, and meant it without longing. We stood there awkwardly, then smiled. At the same time, the tension eased. How have you been? She asked. Better, I said. How about you? She nodded slowly, learning that answer felt honest. We walked out of the store together, not because we planned to, but because neither of us rushed away. Outside, the air was warm, normal, kind. I didn't expect to see you, she said. I think that's the point, I replied. We weren't supposed to. She smiled faintly at that. I think about that call sometimes, she admitted. I wonder if I said the right things. You said the necessary ones, I said. She looked relieved. I was scared you'd hate me. I shook my head. I was scared you'd come back too soon. She laughed softly. And now? I thought about it. Now I'm not scared, I said, of either. That seemed to surprise her. We stood there for a moment longer, the past standing quietly between us, not demanding, not begging. I'm glad you didn't wait, she said finally. So, she hesitated, then asked, "Do you think in another time?" I gently interrupted, not unkindly. "I think this time taught us what we needed." I said, "We don't have to rewrite it." She nodded, a little sad, a little grateful. "I hope you find everything you're looking for," she said. "I hope you do too." And this time when we said goodbye, it didn't feel unfinished. She walked away first. I didn't watch her go. Later that night, I sat by the window, city lights blinking like quiet witnesses. I realized something had shifted completely. The question was no longer, will she come back? It had become, I okay if she doesn't? And the answer surprised me. Yes, because love that teaches you how to stand alone doesn't disappear. It becomes part of who you are. And maybe that's the kind of ending that doesn't hurt as much as it heals. Life didn't change overnight after that encounter. It changed quietly in the way mornings felt lighter, in the way silence stopped feeling like punishment, in the way her name no longer caused my chest to tighten. I didn't erase her from my life. I just stopped carrying her everywhere. That's the strange thing about real healing. It doesn't announce itself. One day you just realize you're no longer bleeding from a wound you thought would never close. A few weeks later, I received a message from her, not late at night, not emotional, not heavy, just simple. Her. I started therapy. I stared at the screen, then smiled. "Me. I'm proud of you." I meant it without expectation, without hope hiding behind the words. She replied, "Her. I finally understand why I ran. I didn't ask for details. Some journeys are private. Me. That matters. There was a pause. Her. You were never the problem. I read that twice. Not because I needed reassurance, but because hearing it from her felt like something settling into place. Me. I know. That was new. Not long after that, someone else entered my life. Not like a storm, more like a steady sunrise.